According to Bill Burnett, there are myths and beliefs that hold us back from career goals and transitions. Questions like, what's your passion? Or, are you being the best possible version of you? Point us in the wrong direction. Bill is the executive director of Stanford's design program at the Hasso-Plattner Institute of Design at Stanford, commonly known as the D School. And it's the principles in this program that he outlines today as a way to reframe the ways we can all design the life we want.
I'm here to help you design your life. We're going to use the technique of design thinking. And it's an innovation methodology, works on products, works on services. But I think the most interesting design problem is your life. So that's what we're going to talk about. I want to just make sure everybody knows, this is my buddy Dave Evans. Dave and I are the co-authors of the book, and he's the guy who helped me co-found the Life Design Lab at Stanford. So what do we do in the Life Design Lab? Well, we teach the class that helps you figure out what you want to be when you grow up. There's a meta-narrative in the culture. When I was growing up, 25, you were supposed to have, maybe have a relationship, maybe have gotten married, starting to get the family together. In the book or in the class, we don't believe in should. We just think, all right, you are wherever you are. Let's start from where you are. You're not late for anything. So I'm going to give you 3 ideas from design thinking. The first one is this notion of connecting the dots. So we looked in the positive psychology literature and in the design literature, and it turns out that there's who you are, there's what you believe, and there's what you do in the world. And if you can make a connection between these 3 things, if you can make that a coherent story, you will experience your life as meaningful. The increase in meaning making comes from connecting the dots. So we do 2 things. We ask people, write a work view. What's your theory of work? Not the job you want, but why do you work? What's it for? What's work in service of? Once you have that, 250 words, then this one's a little harder to get short. What's the meaning of life? What's the big picture? Why are you here? What is your faith or your view of the world? When you can connect your life view and your work view together in a coherent way, you start to experience your life as meaningful. That's the idea number 1. Idea number 2, people get stuck, and and you got to be careful because we can reframe almost anything, but there's a class of problems that people get stuck on that are really, really bad problems. We call them gravity problems. Essentially, there's something you cannot change. You're simply not willing to work on it. Then it's just a circumstance in your life. And once you've accepted this is a gravity problem, I can't change it, now you have to decide, what do you want to do? Is that a circumstance that you can reframe and work in, or do you need to do something else? So be really careful about gravity problems because they're pernicious and they really get in the way. And we ask people to do some design. In the ideate bubble, it's about having lots of ideas. So we say, let's have some ideas. We're going to ideate your future, but you can't ideate just 1. You have to ideate 3. Now, what happens when they do this is 1, they realize, oh my gosh, I could actually have imagined 3 completely parallel lives. They're all pretty interesting. But a lot of times, the things that come up on the other plans were things that they left behind somehow. In the busyness of life, they forgot about those things. And so they bring them back and they put them in plan 1. They make their lives even better. Sometimes they do pivot, but mostly they just use this as a method of ideating all the possible wonderful ways they could have a life. Now, you could start executing that, but in our model, the thing you do after you have ideas is you build a prototype. We have met people who've quit their job and suddenly done something else. It hardly ever works. You kind of have to sneak up on it because in our model, we want to set the bar really low, try stuff, have some success, do it again. So when we say prototype in our language, what we mean is a way to ask an interesting question. What would it be like if I tried this? A way to expose the assumptions. Is this even the thing I want? Or is that just something I remember I wanted when I was 20? I got to go out in the world and do this, so I'm going to get others involved in prototyping my life. And I'm going to sneak up on the future because I don't know if this is exactly what I want. So once you get good at gathering and creating ideas, you also want to make sure you leave room for the lucky ideas, the serendipitous ideas. And by the way, as a designer, you're really good at prototyping to get data in the world to see if that world is going to be the world you want to live in. It's just a process, mindful of process. Collect, reduce, decide, move on. So it's connecting the dots to find meaning through work and life views. Stay away from gravity problems because I can't fix those and neither can you. Reframe those to something that is workable. Do 3 plans, never 1. Always do 3 of everything. 3 ideations for any of the problems you're working on to make sure that you've covered not just the ideas that you had when you started, but all the other ideas that are possible. Prototype everything in your life before you jump in and try it. And choose well. There's no point in making a good choice poorly. Choose well, and you will find that things in your life are much easier. And you can do this. It's simple. Get curious, talk to people, and try stuff. And you will design a well-lived and joyful life.